Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 173 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on August 8th, 2023. Man, how are all you wonderful folks doing today? I hope you're doing well. I hope your week is going well. It's a busy week for me already, interestingly enough. Sometimes it's good when the week starts busy. But man, it has been a little crazy in the silencer industry this week, and it's only Tuesday. No, I don't know if you've been on social media lately, or God forbid, AR15.com. Bless your heart. But man, the hooligans are out in full force, and it is something. But I don't know. Enough of that. Enough about how things always are. Let's have some productive talk about silencers. That's right. I think this episode, I think it might be a long one because I'm going to hit the AAC Ti-RANT 9. That's right. We're going to talk about the technical performance of the silencer and its characteristics, but also I think I'm going to give you a little bit of a trip down memory lane. And part of the reason why I want to do that is because it kind of underscores the importance of this study's publication. That's right. So it should be fun. It should be fun, okay, for everybody there. Man, I had a good workout yesterday, and this past weekend, and yesterday being Monday for me here. A time traveler, are listening in the future, but I'm Jay. I'm here in the current time in my timeline. Yesterday, Monday, I had a good workout, and a couple days before that, on the weekend, I shot some silencers on relatively short notice. I can't talk a lot about it yet, but I will say the performance I witnessed was interesting, to say the least. And so I also, to kind of share some of this information, I've implemented another feature on social media. So if you guys haven't, please check out that new feature on the J Situation Instagram account. If you have Instagram, which I know a lot of you do, you can go to the account and join a channel on the account. It's a channel I created. It's called Pew Science Comms, and it's on the account page there. You can click it or tap it. And it's a little bit limited in that it only has one-way communication, but it's neat for announcements and stuff like that. We had some funny stuff in there so far, and recently I shared some videos in the channel. You don't see a lot of videos from Pew Science, right? But sometimes the old Pew Science Laboratory puts out some videos there. It's usually nighttime. It's one of our favorite things to video. And the CAT folks, remember, the Combat Application Technology we talked about last episode, they actually got some units to Pew Science. And some evaluations the Pew Science Laboratory was doing on those recently was at nighttime. There are a couple of videos for you to watch at night. You see what you're going to see in those videos that are shared to that channel. You're going to see an Inconel 762 silencer. So Inconel it's actually, this particular silencer is a proprietary Inconel, but Inconel in general, it's a high nickel content alloy. So yeah, you're going to see an Inconel 762 silencer being fired on an M4, which is 14.5 inch 5.56, and you're going to see that same silencer being fired on the 13 inch 762 SCAR. So you're gonna see a Pew Science laboratory operator firing those weapons. Well, you won't see them because it's pitch black, it's dark, but you will see the flash signature. The operator was using thermal and night vision to see, so they wouldn't do anything bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that operator setup with this podcast episode, so you can see that. You've seen that before, the Voodoo S and PVS-14, the L3 unfilmed white phosphor PVS-14. dual mounted with the Voodoo S thermal from Pixels on Target. That's a setup that provides multi-spectra, observation capabilities. And that's something that during nighttime operations and evaluations in the field, Pew Science Laboratory uses to understand the signature to what the operator sees. This is a very practical field observation protocol that we sometimes do when it is pertinent. Now, we can talk more about that later. I'm not going to bog down this podcast with that cat stuff right now. It's because the data's not even available for you yet, but I'm addressing it here because it's a big talking point right now online. I can't tell you how much hubbub. People are getting super emotionally upset about it. It's weird. You never, I just eat my popcorn to watch it. Personally, it's a little crazy. Anyway, and so I thought not even talking about it at all would be super weird. So it's like, in the intro to the podcast, I'll mention those videos. You can go watch those. It's Pew Science stuff. And frankly, I work for Pew Science, so you can see some Pew Science stuff. And if you want to know more about that company, go check out the previous episode 172 there. I think I did that justice there. So yeah, you can do that. You can view those in the channel. On the Instagram there, the J Situation Instagram. You can check it's shared from the Spectre's Cat Instagram reel. So you can go to that on the J Situation Instagram account. And I will say this. So when I post this podcast, I'm trying to get this Instagram thing working better for you guys. In the comments on the post for this episode on Instagram, maybe give feedback on that regarding that comms channel. And if you make that feedback public like that, because you can't give feedback in the comms channel itself because it's one way, but if you can give feedback that people can see on the post for this podcast in the morning when I post this, it could help people brainstorm. It'll help me know what cool stuff is convenient to share there, and it's way easier than like me checking all of my DMs from all of you. Just comment on the post. It'll be great, and that'll be good. And then because I don't know what's more useful, sharing stuff on the channel or sharing stuff in stories. I think sharing stuff to the channel can be cool because things are kept there, so you can go back and reference them. The stories disappear, which is a pain in the butt, right? And then they get too numerous. Stories are more for like, hey, check this out, or hey, like stream of consciousness, which I'm good at because it's how my brain works. But yeah. It's just, again, the downside to the channel is there's no way for you to message back in it. And we did a poll in the channel to ask if people wanted me to do a channel that had two-way communication, but that costs money because Instagram makes you have subscriptions set up and they have set pricing tiers. And surprisingly, it was funny. Like we did a poll and like it was basically like, I don't remember what it was. It was like 2/3 of people, or like 70% of people were like, nah, we don't want to pay for this. And I was like, all right, it'll be free. But the consequence is that there's no two-way communication. A lot of people wanted me to do a Discord for Pew Science members specifically. I'm thinking about doing that. One of the great things about Pew Science is that it's decentralized, which protects the effort. Frankly, this industry is one of the most dangerous industries to operate in. There's just so much bad stuff going on that I would rather just not have some kind of central location like that. But hey, if it helps the members, I'll do it. So we're talking about that with some people. We're seeing if that's a good idea or not. I don't know. Could be cool. If it helps bring value to the membership, I'll certainly do it. But I'm not going to just do it for the public. That's probably not something Pew Science is going to do. I wouldn't rule it out, but it's not looking likely. Now, I think the Instagram channel can be a powerful tool. Let me know, okay? Okay. So now this is something I'm going to do in a little bit differently on this podcast now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read these sponsored ads, but the twist here is that I'm going to timestamp this. So that way, if you want to skip the ads, you can. See, at the very least, you'll know where they are. That way, I think it'll help people to know that. And if I was thinking what I would want if I was listening to a podcast. And I would want this option. I would want to be able to listen to the intro and then know exactly when the ads are going to start. That way, like, I don't know. It made sense in my head thinking about it. If it's stupid, we won't do it again, but I'm doing it right now. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to start this ad. I mean, I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm doing it. I'm going to start this ad read at 10 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay, so just to let you know who sponsors this podcast and makes it possible for me to do every week, I will now tell you about these gracious companies. That doesn't sound natural. No, the J Situation podcast is probably sponsored by Legion Athletics. I'm using their pre-workout right now. Honestly, I'm super focused. Yeah, they are a dedicated sponsor of the podcast. It really helps. And one of the reasons why I agreed to partner with them is because I'm a believer in a sound mind and a sound body. I'm a firm believer of that. I believe physical activity is important, and even with my busy schedule, I work it in. Okay, it's something that's important. I think it's important for everyone at all stages of life, and that means when you're busy, you might need help not only fitting those activities into your schedule, cramming them in when you can, but you might need help supplementing the nutrients you need to actually recover. Okay, continue the good habits. All right, you might need help with that. You're no good unless you can be consistent. Nothing you do is worth doing without consistency. Okay, so Legion Athletics has whey protein, pre-workout, post-workout, vitamins, minerals, all kinds of stuff. It's awesome, dude. Do they have everything you need? No, but they have a lot of it. Okay, so go to legionathletics.com. There is a link in the show notes. Use code word PewScience to save 20% off your first order. It's pretty good, dude. Keep using the code for double loyalty points. Okay, you're going to get 10% off everything going forward with the points using that code. You get strong. Okay, it's important. All right, you can do that. Excuse me. Second ad read, Top Gun Range. They're actually awesome. They're actually doing some more range days with people in the industry. It's actually, I think Top Gun Range might be growing, which to me is pretty dope because they sponsor this podcast. They're good guys, and I like their place. All right, they're in Houston. If you're in the Houston area, even if you're just visiting, they're worth checking out. In addition to having a 15-lane indoor range, they have the largest firearm rental fleet in the state of Texas. You can rent pistols and rifles and shotguns and machine guns. It's awesome. If you're shopping for a new carry gun and you want to know like how it feels in your hand, how it feels appendix carry, how you shoot it, how it points for you, like if it's dope, if it's cool, Go shoot it at Top Gun Range. I mean, you know, they have a lot for rent, so you can see at the very least, if they don't have the exact gun you want, at the very least they have enough to where you shoot them. And look, pay a little money to rent a gun, dude. It's totally worth it. Okay, there's no substitute. Like you can look at guns on the internet all day until you shoot the gun. You have no idea. You have no idea how that gun feels. And a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't matter what the gun is. You just have to train. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, you could abide by that philosophy, or you could also like the gun you have and be good with it. Best of both worlds. Okay, check them out. You can check out their rental inventory, topgunrange.com. You can find them on Instagram at Top Gun Range. Check them out, okay? Oh, also, high-end armament technologies, salt of the earth right here, a dealer of exactly that, high-end arms and accessories. They've been around a very long time. Machine guns, lasers, infrared, night vision, thermal, Knights Armament, HK, Wilcox. I'll keep dropping buzzwords. No, but they're all things they're experts in. If there's a weapon system that's rare and you're having trouble finding it, call Robert and his crew at High End Arms. All right, they're a great place. Trust me. If I can't find something, I call Robert. HighEndArms.com, on Instagram at High End Arms, and they even have a Facebook page, which is High End Arms. I hope they can help you folks out. If you need it, tell them Jay sent you. Okay. Finally, the final third-party sponsor here is Sansa Shop, the largest Sansa retailer in the world, probably. They are Sansa Shop sponsors PewScience. Therefore, Sansa Shop fully endorses and sponsors the Sansa Sound Standard. Therefore, fully sponsors and endorses the PewScience suppression rating, meaning that Sansa Shop does not endorse any other type of silencer testing that occurs in the industry. Okay, I'm going on record and saying that. See, because Sansa Shop is endorsing PewScience, Sansa Shop does not endorse any of this other silencer testing that doesn't work. So, you know, if you want to like talk to Sansa Shop about that, you should. It's important, because they're pretty good, because they got a kiosk. They do their fingerprints and photos electronically. You cut down on errors when you use that stuff. You simplify your silencer purchasing process to get a money back guarantee. It's pretty good. You don't pay a transfer fee. You don't have paperwork errors really en masse. You just get your silencer with no drama. Truly, a silencer ownership simplified. And, as long as they support the silencer sound standard, they're pretty much on the up and up with the data. You know what I mean? So that's got to be good for something, I think. In the show notes, you have a True Shot Gun Club out of Arizona. There's a coupon code if you want to buy cheap ammo there. They have really cheap ammo. If you like Magpul, which you should, use the code word PSTEN at magpul.com, and you'll get $10 off your order of $100 or more. So every time you buy mags, just use that code. It's basically saving you 10%, which is good because you're going to buy mags all the time. It's important to stock up on mags for the future. And, of course, the J Situation podcast is sponsored by Pew Science. It's pushing the silencer industry forward, one test at a time. Of course, you can visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating. It's the simplest and most accurate hearing safe rating for your suppressed small arms, and it's based on true data, real data, based on true human inner ear response, using that data from the entire gunshot, from before combustion takes place all the way until all the combustion is gone, as proven, as peer-reviewed, and the raw data published at pewscience.com for almost 4 years now. Okay, Pew Science is the home of the silencer sound standard. There's 7 sections. It is the most in-depth and accurate silencer data and analysis in the known universe, right? Of any laboratory that publishes data publicly, it's the best. Check it out on pewscience.com. You can support this podcast. You can support Pew Science. You can support testing by joining with a membership on the website, okay? Join Pew Science. It helps keep this going. There is a donate feature on the review page, on the podcast page. You can help that way too. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's okay. But if you don't like recurring stuff, it's there. Now, something that's free, doesn't cost you anything at all. Just give this podcast a good review. Just give it a good rating on iTunes or Spotify. It'll let folks know that silencer guns are awesome. It'll normalize the use of suppressed small arms. Share it with your friends. Listen to it with your wife and kids. I make it family friendly. People tell me they listen with their family all the time. It's great. Okay. Now, the way I'm going to structure this topic, so what I've done is, I'm going to we did the intro. I'm going to timestamp that. We did the ads. Totally going to timestamp that too. Oh, you know what I'll do? That's what I'll do. Should I also timestamp the table of contents? No, see, this is, let's be honest, this is probably the last time I'm going to do this stupid timestamp thing. I was trying to help you, and now I'm realizing this is going to be clunky. Anyway, the primary topic I have to talk to you guys about today is Sound Signature Review 6118. It's the AAC Ti-RANT 9M HD. It's the Ti-RANT 9M. It's the Ti-RANT 9, all on the HKP30L, all configurations, okay? It's the most in-depth, complete, and high-fidelity Ti-RANT 9 case study ever published in the history of silencers. It was all done with Pew Science member funding, okay? And so it's going to be basically the technical discussion to accompany the initial article that was published last week. Okay, we're going to publish more research too, but this is just the initial article. Okay, and so I'm going to split this. I'm planning here, I think, to split this talk into 2 parts today. It's going to be part A, which is going to be some historical background. It's going to be part B, which is some technical nitty gritty for you as typical. Okay, we're going to do it like that. Huh? Sound good? All right, so I guess I'm going to do this topic. I'm just figuring out how I'm going to do my notes here. Part A, I'm going to do at a time of 19 minutes and 3 seconds. Okay. That sounds fair, right? I don't know. I'm just trying to do this right for you guys, make it easier to listen to, if it helps. Okay. It's a one-topic podcast. 2 parts. 1 second. Drink of water here. All right. How do I start this? All right. Part A. Ti-RANT 9M HD. I hope you listened to that initial intro so you understand what this is. Part A. This article was published last week on Thursday. It's still fresh for a lot of you. Okay. It's a very big deal. So I cannot explain to you, I cannot express to you how big a deal this article is. Okay. You'll notice there wasn't any pushback on this when I published it, was there? Oh, weird. Yeah, there's a reason for that. There's a couple of reasons for that. Had to be done. So I'll give you some historical background about this. Okay, let's gather around, get comfortable, because there are certain silencers in silencer history that deserve mention. So today, we're going to talk about one of those silencers. That silencer is the AAC Ti-RANT 9. And I really hope that every single person that ever doubted Pew Science listens to this episode. I really do hope you're all listening. I really hope you are. Because if you think that article that I published on August 3rd was possible from any other entity on the planet and had motivations other than pure love of the game, you don't know silencers. Yes, you. Okay? What was published on August 3rd is perhaps the most insane treatise on the Ti-RANT 9 that exists. And I can tell you right now, the military contracts that have been won or continue to be won and will be won with this silencer do not have close to the fidelity of testing you see in this article. And not only that, there are 5 silencers tested in this report. There are 5 silencers. You have the AAC Ti-RANT 9M HD in both long and short configurations. That's 2 silencers. Then you have the Ti-RANT 9M long and short. That's 2 more silencers. Then you have the Ti-RANT 9, the original. That's the last silencer. That's 5. That's 5 silencers. Madness. Okay? And you may ask yourself, why, Jay? Why did you present 5 silencers in one test report? Are you crazy? You may ask. First of all, you have to be a little crazy. Because if you're not a little crazy, how can you push the limits of what's possible? Okay, so let's set that aside. Now, to answer the first question of why, because for the love of the game and for the state of practice, that's why. This isn't funded by AAC. AAC is not the AAC of old. The new AAC is owned by a holding company and doing company stuff. I don't even know, dude. It doesn't matter. This article has nothing to do with AAC. It was not funded in any way by AAC, and AAC had no idea the research was even being done. This article was going to get published. They had no idea that anything was. They had completely and utterly in the dark. The only party that knew about this research study was Pew Science. Now, there is one more party that knew that the AAC Ti-RANT 9M HD was in the possession of Pew Science for testing. There's one party that knew that. And now that the dust has settled, I'll thank that party. That party is Mason at Peace of Mind Guns in Utah. Oh, that's right. Peace of Mind Guns is a Pew Science member dealer. Corporate sponsor of the effort. Good dude. Loaned the Ti-RANT 9M HD to Pew Science for testing. The Pew Science laboratory had it for a long time. That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. We can get sponsors anywhere we want. Relax. This is like I'm so with what I've seen on the internet. I am like, I've had it. I have a short fuse right now. We're going to get through this, but oh my God. Now, you got to ask yourself, why did it take so long to get this article out? Okay, well, for a few reasons. First, there was no way on God's green earth I was going to test a new Ti-RANT 9 variant without testing the other ones. When I saw the Ti-RANT 9M in 2017, I knew it wasn't going to perform the same way as the original 2009 Ti-RANT 9. I knew it was going to be different. And when I saw this new Ti-RANT 9M HD, I knew it wasn't going to perform the same as either of the other two. So if I only tested this new one that you can buy, I knew I was going to get frustrated. And then you were going to get frustrated. And then everyone was going to be frustrated. So it was going to be a problem. I don't like problems. Okay? I don't create problems. I create solutions. Okay? So that's like one of the first reasons it took so long. I had to do all the silencers. Second reason, there are people, and I know these people are real. There are people out there that would have you believe that all three versions of this silencer sound the same. I will tell you right now, if you are one of those people, you need to go shoot these silencers back to back to back because you are very wrong and the data shows that you are wrong. Okay, and you know what? Pew Science, the Pew Science Laboratory is just going to do another in-depth member research supplement on this to further quantify it for you. We're just going to I'll just keep giving you data. How about that? I can give you data all day long, proving everything. So I'll just keep doing it. Okay, yeah. So that's the second reason this took a while. Okay. Just because of the importance, to underscore the importance of why all of them had to be done. And you know what? And I took note of this because this is important too. Why not? I like to document the historical record. It's pretty much what I'm doing for silencers, right? By this point. So before we get too far into this, I want to tell you, we have a historical event for the record. I screenshotted it. I shared it on social media to commemorate it. Let the record state, Mike Smith, formerly of AAC, he now works for Dead Air in August of 2023 at least, working on their pistol silencers. Now, he didn't design the Ti-RANT 9 at AAC, but what he did do at AAC was turn their pistol silencers into user hand disassemblable units, and he helped out with the pistol he did pistol silencers, but he was not the primary designer of the Ti-RANT 9. Okay, but he had a hand in this stuff. So he altered the Ti-RANT 9 so you can make it take apart by hand. That's the Ti-RANT 9M from 2017, give or take. So anyway, this Mike Smith, interesting guy. Here's an interesting anecdote that I don't share a lot of things in common with Mike, but I do share a couple of things. We both, or actually three of us, me, him, and another dude. Shout out Derek, if you're listening to this, you the man. All three of us, Mike, Derek, and I, we had our SIG P210 guns threaded 13.5 by 1 millimeter left hand for silencers because we're crazy people at Tornado Technologies. All three of us did it at like the same time because we're crazy. Anyway, all silencer guys, I bring this up for a reason. All silencer guys are very weird people, deal with it. So Mike Smith, he commented on this article on ARFCOM, the cesspool of the silencer community. AR15.com, one of the most toxic atmospheres you'll ever visit in your life. Just don't go there. It's a terrible place. Trust me. No good can come of it. But nonetheless, for the historical record, someone brought up this article. I didn't, frankly. I don't bring up any articles I publish anymore there because it's crazy. But, there are some good people there that still post, and they'll bring it up. And Mike Smith, he's old school, so of course he's going to go to ARFCOM because it's what people do. And somehow he still goes there because he's a nice person. And he commented on the article there publicly because someone shared it in. And Mike gave his comments, and he confirmed some key traits that were characteristic in the article. And it was so interesting that he confirmed the specific things that he confirmed. And I just want to go on. So I want to go on record and just let you know that happened, and I screenshot it. Like I'm keeping that forever. Then, so I just want to tell everyone right now, if anyone has an issue with this Ti-RANT 9 article, and believe me, still I have not seen one issue posted by anyone anywhere. If anyone has an issue with this article, I just want you to let me know. because even the guy who worked on the variants corroborated the data. So if anyone wants to come step to me, they better come correct. Bring your sources, bring your boys, bring your data, bring your whole gang, dude. Bring your analysis. I'm just saying, bring it. Come correct or don't come. You feel me? All right, come correct or don't come, because I'm tired of being nice about this. Like, I've seen some stuff, and I'm like, this is like, I'm not gonna be nice anymore, because I'm getting fed up. All right, like, you guys push me so much that it's like, swear to God. Now, I know this is long-winded, but yeah, you know what you're getting into. This article is almost 15 years in the making. So this is the historical intro, okay? This article is almost 15 years in the making. Literally, be patient. This is good for you. And we're going to talk more about the history before we get into the nerd stuff. So I'm going to set the stage. I want you to come with me. I'm going to set the stage. It's 2007, all right? Give or take. 2007, 2008, around that time. Maybe sooner. At this point, old young Jay whippersnapper here. I'm about to leave the government world. I've been doing that for a little bit. I'm like, I'm leaving the government. I'm going to the private sector, engineering, testing, and research. I'm doing my thing. I'm developing my chops. I'm a young, aggressive Jay out in the world. I'm feeling invincible at this point. I'm invincible. I'm super strong. I'm aggressive. I'm just doing my thing, man. You know, at this point in history, the Silencer Talk website is basically in full swing. So once in a while with some bourbon or a beer, all of us kind of weirdos would go hit that up. Whether you're a spook or a gun guy or whatever you are, it was all anonymous for the most part on that website, and we would just go on there and talk about silencers. It was not to be taken that seriously. And it was just what people did. It was the age of forums. It was like what you would do like every once in a while. And it was kind of like, it was almost like, if you were around back then, it's almost like the super underground dumb stuff, like the old Subguns forum run by Tom Bowers. You remember the Subguns back in the day? When Bowers ran that board, that NFA board? It's pretty dope if you're around back then. Anyway. Silencer Talk was like that, but like for way more extreme silencer autistic people. Everyone was there, man. Not everyone, but like a lot of people that like really ended up mattering. At first, the site was called Silencer Tests. It was run by Robert Silvers. And if you want to know more about him, listen to my podcast with Brittingham, or go listen to Brittingham's podcast with me. We both did each other's a while back. If you want to get to know more about Robert, we mentioned Robert. It's really out of scope of this topic right now, but it is important to set the stage. Robert was running that site like an absolute lunatic, dude. And let me tell you, he is a lunatic, like a lot of us are. So mad props to you, sir. I know you're out there. I hope you're doing well. Okay, I don't mean lunatic as an insult. It just takes one to know one. Now, eventually, the site changed to Silencer Talk from Silencer Tests. The people that were hanging out there quite a bit were general anonymous consumers, of course. You had Brittingham, you had Joe Gadini, you had Justin Titsworth, Matt Pallett, Henry Graham, James DeGroat, Kel from Gemtech. You had Josh Parker, Josh Parker from CGS. He was like 15, around that age. You had Todd McGee doing Form 1 stuff. He does. He's a silencer designer at Dead Air now, formerly Silencer Co. You had Reed Knight the third. You had Cortland putting AAC silencers in a toilet bowl. You had the Griffin. The Griffin brothers literally welding racist things on end caps of silencers, copying everything. All of these things I've just said, these are old, inside, weird, niche, silencer nerd stuff from like 15, 20 years ago. All right, it has nothing to do with like anything like that at the time was dumb, but like it's kind of weird to see how it all agrees. So, but there's so many people, right? And it was politically and emotionally a disaster, though. It was a complete disaster. That entire community, like all those personalities I just mentioned, it was a complete disaster, complete chaos, like all the time. And this is like silencers were not as popular as they are now. So like it was just nuts. Everyone fought all the time. Constant arguments, constant abuse. It was terrible. Everyone did peak decibel testing with the B&K 2209 analog meter. If you weren't using that, you were behind, because no one was using the data acquisition system, because no one knew what they were doing. And some of the stuff people were testing was super loud, right? Some of the stuff sounded awesome. Some of the silencers were like, they sounded really great, but the 2209 couldn't show it. The 2209 couldn't show it. So it was a mixed bag. It really was a mixed bag. Battles were lost. Battles were won by fractions of a peak decibel from an analog meter, with results put into a spreadsheet on Titsworth's site or Silencer Talk, or measured by Al Paulson or John or Joe in Joe's yard or in Kevin's shipping container, wherever, dude. It was all garbage, but it was all we had. As a community, it's all we had, dude. It's all we had, right? So anyway, let me get a drink of water 1 second. I know, you're like, what is this guy talking about? It's like, you need to know this. All right, so I'm this is the short version. All right, I'll have people on the podcast. We'll get the long version sometime with some beers. This is a short version. Okay, so anyway, going on, pistol silencers. Pistol silencers were way more cool than they are now. They were way more cool. Silencer guys are all about subsonic pistol. Let me tell you that right now. A true silencer guy. I don't care. You can argue with me if you want. I'm going to tell you right now. A true silencer guy is all about when you really get down to brass tacks here, a subsonic pistol setup. It's what makes silencers awesome, dude. Everyone now that is alive that shoots guns is, super into rifle. Right? Super into rifle silencers. And hey, I'm here to tell you, everyone back then, they thought rifle silencers were cool too, but if you were a silencer guy, not a strict gun guy necessarily, but if you were a true silencer guy, a weirdo, pistol silencers were your jam. They were your jam. You understand? Everybody was chasing that quote-unquote hearing safe dry 45 can. Like a 45 can you don't have to add an ablative medium to, and it was still like quote-unquote hearing safe. Everyone was chasing that. Can we get it under 140 dB? Everyone was chasing that. And then everyone was chasing the quietest 9mm pistol can too. Everyone was chasing it. Those were the jams. That was the goalpost, dude. You had that Knights 45 silencer, right? I got one of those now, finally. You had that one. You had, what did you have, 45? I'm just in my memory. You had the Gemtech Black Side. Remember the Gemtech Black Side? Super loud silencer. You had the SWR Hem silencer. It's 45. It's meant to be wet. You had all kinds of really kind of esoteric and pretty cool 45 cans, right? Like, we could do a whole podcast on that. On the 9mm side, you had Gemtech stuff, you had AAC stuff, SWR stuff, AWC stuff. Those were basically the hitters at the time. But eventually a battle emerged. It was AAC versus SWR. Okay? Yeah, there was Gemtech in there, but forget about them right now. Let's go to like the actual, like the people that actually cared about like what was quietest. It was AAC versus SWR. Okay? And these were knockdown, drag out wars. Okay? AAC versus SWR was nasty. It was nasty in the 9mm silencer space, dude. It was nasty. This was the AAC K-baffle derivative versus the SWR Omega baffle. Okay? Both of the baffle technologies really like high pressure. Okay? Both were great in pistols because of this. Okay? But both had high back pressure. Both had high back pressure too. Particularly the Omega baffle. In certain implementations. Okay? One thing the K baffle had going for it was really, really good peak decibel results. One thing the Omega baffle had going for it in Joe's design, Joe Godini's designs, was the actual signature. It didn't win on peak dB a lot, but it did sound good. It did sound good when you shot it, right? Yeah. So I'm getting passionate about this. I'm thinking of stuff. I don't want to get too bogged down. I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm going to start cutting to the chase. You had a culmination. Of things going on until you got this AAC Evo 9, the Evolution 9. So this was a 9mm pistol silencer that had decent peak decibel results on these old meters. It was trashing Gemtech stuff at the time. It was like, what was it? Like 1 1/4 inch diameter, 1 1/8 or 1 1/4 inch diameter, whatever that is. Whatever is smaller pistol diameter than the 1.375 stuff. So it was smaller diameter. Then, and SWR had been doing their subguns, like they had been doing stuff, and then SWR, their stuff kind of culminated into a pistol silencer called the Ti-RANT. The Ti-RANT 9, right? And it was wild, dude. It was wild. You went 1.375 inch diameter, but you could change the back end for pistol, or an Uzi, or 3-lug, or fixed mount. This was before hub. This was just the Ti-RANT had a proprietary thread pitch because they wanted to use this silencer on multiple things because it was a multi-use 9mm silencer that was actually phenomenal for multiple uses with 9mm. Okay, it was like one of the first like good multi-use systems. Okay, and for those of you who just tuned into this podcast for the first time or new to Pew Science, you can actually see the SWR Ti-RANT 9 silencer tested by the Pew Science Laboratory in article 6.8 on the website. It was the 8th article published. One second. Wild, right? 8th article. So, to continue, folks were going back and forth. AAC had been working on something, and at this point, AAC was winning contracts. The marketing was really slick. Anyone that was getting into silencers in the early 2000s, dude, they were looking at the skull logo from AAC. Some people were getting it tattooed to get free silencers because AAC ran a promotion to do that, dude. It was totally stupid. So AAC came out with the Ti-RANT 9. All right. We hadn't seen a big advancement in sound signature reduction in 9mm silencers for a little bit. And you got to understand, it isn't like it is now. Okay? It wasn't like it is now. There were three. It was basically three. There were like three pistol silencers for your 9mm that were like the bee's knees, everyone, the hot stuff that you wanted. And there were others, but they were getting so outclassed that folks really looking into this stuff, they just wanted the quietest, dude. That was all people wanted. Nothing else mattered at all. You would spend big money for the quietest can. It was an obsession, dude. Everyone was chasing it. No one cared about this. I mean, yeah, there were construction materials too that, believe me, the people who didn't have good quality stuff, those died off for the most part. But man, the sound was king. This is pistol silencers. So, Ti-RANT 9 came out. AAC. There was no question it was quiet. There was no question, dude. There was no question. When you shot it, you knew it was quiet. Now, the SWR Trident, it was still doing well. But we all kind of knew, the Trident's pretty good. The Trident's hanging, but this Ti-RANT 9, something else, man. Maybe it had its number, man. You know what I mean? Maybe it had its number, okay? Sometimes that happens. And old guys, like the old AAC guys, and that are no longer AAC, but the Georgia AAC guys that can tell you the story of the Ti-RANT 9 development, the insane iteration on the baffles over and over and over with all that money, and peak DB testing on each iteration to get lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. So yeah, the Ti-RANT 9 went on to be one of the most prolific high-performance 9mm silencers in history. I mean, you had things like, you had Gemtech trying to copy the SWR system. They came out with a silencer called the multi-mount. That was just so inferior in so many ways. Both in performance and materials for pistol silencers, frankly. Just a terrible... The high-quality stuff, it was just really AAC and SWR for the most part. There were some others, but for the most part, dude, that was like the really high-quality, high-performance stuff that you really see. I mean, there's some other stuff too, but that was back then. That's what everyone was chasing. And so you saw the SWR Trident in the standard. You've seen it. It's there. So now, the AAC Ti-RANT 9's in the standard. The original. You have the original one that came out and blew everyone away. It's there. And now even the new version from when Remington acquired AAC is there, the 9M. And now even the new version from present day with another company owning the whole AAC thing. Okay, so this technical talk is going to talk about the performance of all three pieces of history. Isn't that crazy? About 15 years for this to happen. But it's happening now. You are witnessing this history. The definitive answer to how quiet really is the AAC Ti-RANT 9. If only AAC had pew science back then. It might not have been all good for AAC, actually. Peak DB is a hell of a drug. And if you take that drug away sometimes, people get some nasty withdrawals, don't they? I think we've been seeing that happen. So let's move into part B of topic 1 at a time of 48 minutes and 12 seconds. Oh my goodness gracious me. All right. Get my water here. All right, part B. Okay, I'm going to pause this. I need to go grab another bottle of water. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. I'm just like, goodness gracious, this is a lot. Now, part B, technical discussion. This is going to be weird because there's 5 tests in here. All right, so we're not going to be able to do the full thing in one episode like I usually do for you. It's not going to work in the same way. There's just too much. There's physically too much data. 1 second, man. Sorry about my throat. Throat has been talking a lot. A lot of calls today. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the high points of this article, and after I do the member research supplement later, we'll do like part 2 of this. Okay, so it'll be like part C, or I'll figure out a designation. Okay, I wanted to do, I wanted to hit all that history up front because I do believe it's important for you to know about. I think that if you're going to appreciate pistol silencers, you need to know these things. And pistol silencers are harder to make good than rifle silencers. It's different. It's harder, dude. Pistol silencers are super complicated. and they're super hard. It's a difficult system. All right. So if you're starting here with Part B, just know you missed some history in Part A. Okay. So if I lose you, sorry. Okay. Subpart B of the Ti-RANT 9 talk. Bottom line up front. Oh, by the way, sorry. Pull up sound signature review 6118. It's labeled AAC Ti-RANT 9 MHD 9M and 9 on the HK P30L. The subtitle here is AAC Ti-RANT 9 MHD 9M and 9 generational performance on the HK P30L full size semi-automatic pistol Pew Science case study. So, as always, I bring up the member review to talk through, and I always tell you guys this. You do not have to be a member to get something out of this. You can follow along with the free version at home, dude. It's totally fine. I'm not going to leave you behind, okay? No man left behind. I always abide by that, but this time I'm going to tell you right now, there is so much more information in the member review that if you're not a member, it's just not going to mean as much. But nonetheless, the suppression rating is always free. And you have that. Okay, so I'm going to go through it just like you're viewing the free one. Don't worry, it's going to be transparent to you. But members, just know what you have. Know the power of it. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top. Now that you have it pulled up. Bottom line up front, 54.9. Composite suppression rating on the HK-P30L semi-automatic pistol, 54.4 at the muzzle in the long configuration, 42.3 at the ear. Make this puppy shorter, 34.6 at the muzzle, and still 42.3 at the ear. Wait, what? What'd you say, Jay? Oh, yes, that's right. The AAC Ti-RANT 9M HD that you can buy right now, the current version of the silencer, if you take it from long configuration to short configuration, it gets louder, but to the shooter, the hearing damage risk potential is for all intents and purposes the same in the free field. Did I just blow your mind? Good. We'll talk about it. Okay. So now, before I go on, what is the AAC Ti-RANT 9 MHD? I'm going to make this quick, so pay attention. We have to start from the beginning. Original Ti-RANT 9, non-modular, grade 9 titanium tube, steel blast baffle, aluminum other baffles, stainless steel piston, etc. Enter the Ti-RANT 9M. Okay, 2017 or so. You could take it apart by hand. Modular. Dimensions slightly changed to accommodate. Use the same pistons. Same materials. But different gas dynamics by a little bit. And a little heavier. Current time, the 9M HD. They made all the baffles in the front section steel. Changed the back end, so now it uses Ti-RANT 45 pistons. So, different gas dynamics again, and heavier still. Okay? Clear as mud? That's the generations. It's in the article. It's written down. Okay, clear as mud. So, now let's move on. Bottom line up front for the Ti-RANT 9M from 2017. The graphics are in the review. 53.8 composite suppression rating. Okay, that's down from 54.9 from the current. Okay, 53.3 at the muzzle. Okay, that's down from 54.4. Okay, 41.8 at the ear. That's down from 42.3. Okay. Now, in the short configuration, 38.2 at the muzzle. Oh, that's higher by a little bit. 30 at the ear. Or 40 at the ear. Okay, that's a little lower. Okay. All right, let's go on. Next one. Original Ti-RANT 9. The OG. The Mac Daddy for many people. 53.9 composite. A tenth of a point up from the 9M. That's not that different, but there is a little different, I guess. Interesting. 53.6 at the muzzle. A little bit quieter. At the muzzle. Okay. 39.8 at the ear. A touch louder at the ear. Okay. Okay, so there's no possible way you remembered all those numbers, right? I usually give you 3. Composite, muzzle, and ear. Now I just gave you 1, 2, 3. I gave you 5 plus 5 is 10 plus 3 is 30. I just give you 13 numbers. Composites and muzzle and ear for all configurations. I just give you 13. There's no possible way you remember 13 numbers. All right. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to go through it all and explain it in the way you can remember. All right. Okay. So one thing that's going to save us time here on the podcast is that, again, member version of this article is so long it's insane. Public review is not that long. I'm not going to talk as long. Such is life. If you want the best data, join Pew Science. Help the lab. Help you. It's a test lab. Help it. Help the lab. People who joined literally made this review happen. Remember, AAC, just open your ears right now. AAC is not helping Pew Science. In fact, they're actively not helping. You feel me? Yes, they're actively not helping, if you understand what that means. So, Pew Science made this possible. Okay, let's make sure you understand this. Now, remember in 2007 when you had peak decibel numbers for the Ti-RANT 9? Remember, all of you, in 2007, remember? It's 2023. Remember in 2007 when you had peak decibel numbers for the Ti-RANT 9? Cool. I remember too. Cool story. If you want the real peak dB numbers, look in the article in Table 1 and Table 2 and Table 3. Okay? You're welcome. Consider this the historical record being corrected. Not that peak dB matters, but if you believe it does, now you have the real answer for it. Okay? And you can sleep at night. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the 9MHD, the one you can buy. Unless you want to spend $3,000 on Gunbroker once this comes out or something, you know. Every time Pew Science publishes data on a silencer that's no longer available and it does well, it gets on Gunbroker for $3 to $6,000. Just look at the SIG SRD 762 or TIQD or whatever it's called. Now, let's talk about the one you can buy. It's important. Look at the fingerprint, figure 1. Let's scroll down. I'm losing my voice, guys. All right. Figure 1A and Figure 1B. You see anything special? Do you see anything special in Figure 1 of this article? I mean, you should. The signature is overall low amplitude because the Ti-RANT 9 is a gas trapping, high pressure wanton son of a gun, dude. A K baffle only a mother could love. Or a father. Just kidding. But not kidding about the trapping of gas. No. Check out Figure 1B. That's right. You know what I want you to do? I want you to go back in time to 2007. Pretend this is the original Ti-RANT. Only members have that data, so you just have to pretend if you're not a member. I want you to close your eyes and imagine what AAC said the peak dB was during the first couple of shots of the Ti-RANT 9. I want you to close your eyes. Do you remember? You got it? Go to Imagination Land. You got it? Cool. Now open your eyes and look at Figure 1B and try to determine which part of the signature the meter tried to get. Look at Figure 1A and try to guess which part of the signature the meter tried to get, maybe. Do you think it got anything? I mean, it got part of it somewhere before then it filtered it too. But alas, the data didn't matter. Restrictive, though, the Ti-RANT 9. Look how long it takes to jet in the full configuration. Now, you have to look at this in complete context. Now, I know the review is long, so maybe read it in steps, but you got to understand this signature. And you got to look at the Huxwork stuff. You got to look at the resilient stuff to understand this, guys. This fingerprint is showing you something that's important. The slow ramp of momentum. Check out Figure 2. Look at Figure 2A and 2B in impulse space. You can read the article, but after first round pop, okay, after FRP, which, again, by the way, if you're a Pew Science member, you will see it's different from the original Ti-RANT 9. Again, remember, during the intro where I said Mike Smith from AAC confirmed this literally in a public peer review of the general conclusions of the data. For the record, write it down. It's like that SpongeBob meme where it's like, write it down. Write that down. Yeah, do that. He confirmed it. Okay, cool. After first round pop, things normalize, which is cool. But something happens to the Ti-RANT 9 signature in SHA-4. And it happens no matter what the Ti-RANT 9 variant is, and it even happens in the short configurations. You get delayed jetting onset, you get different signature, the gas environment, the silencer changes, something changes, temperature gradient, whatever, but it's happening. You need to read research note 2, okay? We see this with restrictive pistol silencers. We see this with restrictive pistol silencers later in the shot string, and if you have shot a pistol silencer a lot, you will understand what this sounds like. It's actually sort of an issue. And again, I know I keep saying this, but if you're a Pew Science member, look at the shooter's ear waveforms because you can see it. Okay? That phenomenon is not happening as much on the Huxworks silencer or the Resilient silencer, but it'll happen with the Obsidian. It'll happen with the Mod 9. It'll happen with a Trident. Just look, you can see it. So that's the first test in here. You can look at the second test, which is the short configuration of the silencer. Everyone can see that. Free version is a preview. Scroll down past table 2. 1 second. Scroll down past table 2, in which you see the peak dB got higher. Weird. And go to figure 5. Scroll all the way down. Just keep going, dude. Figure 5. This time it's not a bar chart. It's actually plots because there's so much data in this article. What happened? What happened in pressure space with the short configuration of the Ti-RANT 9 compared to the long configuration? What happened? Well, the front fell off. You took the front off of it. No, not really. You didn't fall off. I took it off and shot the gun. Man, the signature looks different though, doesn't it? Huge shockwave, right? See the big old shockwave? Wild, right? Where's that shockwave from? What's that shockwave from? Is it from the bullet? Is the bullet supersonic because I changed the silencer configuration? Of course not. It's a subsonic test. Shockwaves can also happen from muzzle blast, of course. And that is why you see that out of the front of the silencer when it's a short configuration of the silencer. That's right. Wild. Did you know? Here's a current event for you. Did you know there's a certain silencer company right now truncating the first parts of waveforms because they think they don't matter? That's wild, right? What's their rule set? What would they do with this silencer? Because they're right now, as we speak, they have a bunch of silencer companies with them at an anti-Pew Science day in Wyoming. Did you know that? They all got together because they got so upset that they couldn't figure this out that they took a sound meter and they put it in a small room and they started shooting all these silencers, and then they're going to massage with it's a completely bad test. It's not in the free field. It's just like they don't get the whole signatures. They spend all this time and money doing it, all these companies. And what they do is they take the peaks of the waveforms and they truncate them because they don't want to worry about. They only take part of it because they want to massage the data, make it say something that they think it should say. And they have this rule set they use. So what would they do in this case with the Ti-RANT 9? What would they do with it? Would they ignore it because their rule set says, well, if it's a sonic crack of the bullet, it doesn't matter. Well, what are they going to do with this shockwave at the front where it's highest and this is a pistol silencer? Well, it's not a sonic crack. It's a shockwave from muzzle blast. What, is it not important all of a sudden because it happened? Well, you want to delete it because it's not good? It doesn't make you feel good, so you want to get rid of it? When do people decide to delete data? Good question. The Pew Lab doesn't delete any data at all within the time regime of interest. In fact, we acquire all of it, dude. Wild, right? Every point. A point every microsecond and in the entire time regime. That's right. because that's what you need for an accurate suppression rating, it turns out. Turns out you actually need the entire thing, funny enough. Funny how that works, right? So I want to make that point here. Again, if you're not getting this, the early time pressure signature of the Ti-RANT 9 in its full configuration and the early time pressure signature of the Ti-RANT 9 in its short configuration, they're the same silencer in a different configuration. And it's a completely different fingerprint. And you need to understand that it all matters. Because you're physically changing the way that the signature propagates through air. And eventually that signature is going to get to a pressure sensor, whether it be your ears or test apparatus or your adversary's ears, it's getting there. Okay? We cannot afford to delete it. We have to use the entire thing or the answer doesn't work. You can't compare it to anything else. You have to do it the same way every time. You have to do it in accordance with the mil standard, which means free field. You have to do it in accordance with the silencer sound standard, which means actually meeting or exceeding the mil standard. You have to analyze the whole waveforms or it doesn't work. And that's why if you're new to pistol silencers, pay attention because this is real. And it's as real as it's going to get. All right. So now that you understand the full pressure regime, look at impulse space, the momentum transfer potential in figure 6. Good golly, Miss Molly, things have changed now. They changed compared to the long configuration. When you look at figure 6, the short configuration, what happened? Completely different fingerprint. Why? How could it have changed? You chopped off the end of your finger. You took the front off. You changed the way the silencer works. But now we will get into something important. Let me ask you this. If you chop off the tip of your finger and it heals up, let's say you stop the bleeding, and you go about town like the man you are, you can still bend the finger a little and you can kind of use the stub, right? Yeah, you bet your ass you can. Don't give up. You rock that stub. Many great folks have partial limbs. Don't let it get you down. But what do we know about partial limbs? First of all, they're still somewhat functional. And they still share some characteristics with the mother limb. But what do we also know? Phantom pain. That can be a thing. All right, stick with me. I know. What does a Ti-RANT do without the front part? What have you changed? Take it back to Pew Science, Charlie and Always Sunny in Philadelphia, writing on the whiteboard. You have dropped omega with the same alpha. SpaghettiOs. That's right. I can tell you right now, you're going to see some stuff from Pew Science from multiple companies in which alpha has dropped and omega may or may not change. But here, alpha had to stay the same because the front of the silencer is the same. Physics dictates that is what happens. Okay? So, this is important. The reason I am telling you this is something that members see in their case study, but the public won't. So I'm going to summarize it for you now on the podcast by going all the way down. I know I'm skipping a lot. I'm going to go all the way down to... member review's too long, dude. All the way down to the public conclusions section in Research Note 15. And members, I labeled these as public conclusions so you wouldn't lose your place. I know I skipped ahead, but this is the only way to do it right now. 1 second. Okay. I'm going to read... I'm going to read point 2 from Research Note 15 from the article to you verbatim. Okay? Okay. The suppression rating at the shooter's ear on a center fire pistol when you change a restrictive silencer from the long configuration to the short configuration, does not appreciably change in general. This is an extremely important concept to understand. This does not mean that the overall signature of the weapon system is identical. It means that the hearing damage risk to the shooter is almost identical in the free field. The Pew Science member version of this review contains further discussion of this phenomenon, yada, yada, yada. And it does. And I probably should have removed that sentence from the member review. Oops, whatever. It's meant to be in the free version. So, guys, ejection port signature is real on a pistol, and it makes sense. It's real on a rifle, too. If you go into the free field with a Huxworks Flow 5.56K, and you shoot in the middle of the free field, your ear will be somewhat protected. I know the late time stuff is louder. I know. The muzzle suppression rating shows that. I know. But that doesn't mean within the time regime of the hearing damage that is severe, you get that dose, okay? When it counts, it's less severe. In later time, it will be loud, but not the type of loud that matters as much, okay? That is why the suppression rating is used and not your brain. Your brain is not reliable. We look at the dimension of time. We look at the entire time regime. We understand the amplitudes over time, the frequency, the phase, everything. Okay, so now then, that rifle example, it's the same with a pistol. Shoot a short Ti-RANT. Shoot a Mod 9 SK. What happens, guys? Shoot a short Obsidian 45. What happens, guys? What happens? What does the bar chart in Figure 18 show? Let me scroll to that. Let's scroll back up. You can keep up. Look at Figure 18. What does it show? What do you guys who have shot the short versions of these silencers in the free field find to be true? What do you find to be true? What do you find to be true? It's louder overall, but does not blow out your ears. Weird. But correct. It's because it's the same thing with the Huxworks example, dude. The net result of the shooter's ear is less hazard. It is more... Okay, let's just posit this to me. Let's you know what? I'm gonna go why pull punches? Is it more stealthy overall? No. Does the suppression rating indicate that? That it would be more stealthy overall? No. Read it. Read the muzzle rating and the ear rating. This is not saying things are super quiet to you at your ear. It is saying it's the same hearing damage risk in the free field at the shooter's ear with long or short. Okay? You see, guys, this is why I carry a Mod 9 SK in my fanny pack for the ranch on a Griffin Easy Lock, which, by the way, I need to get rid of that Griffin Easy Lock, but I'm making a point. I carry a short 9mm silencer because I am alone and I might need to kill something really quick, you feel me? Yeah. I'm not on a SEAL mission, okay, because if I was, everyone knows I use my Mark 23, my 416, and my SCAR for that simultaneously with no clothes on because I lift weights, okay? And I do that on the beach. Okay, so get with the program, okay? What? These boats aren't going to carry themselves, all right? So, like, relax with that, okay? I'm not on a SEAL mission with this Mod 9 SK, okay? That's a Mark 23 situation. Now, look, compare all these. 1 second. Compare all these in figure 18. Or is it 18 or 15? Or wait, hold on. No, 18. So many figures. Figure 18. If you have, this is so great. If you have an Obsidian 45 right now, you listen to this carefully. If you have an Obsidian 45 right now, you have a silencer that is, for all intents and purposes, mirroring the signature severity of a Ti-RANT 9 on a 9mm pistol. Wild, right? In the short and the long, kind of. Wild, right? So rest easy, sweet prince. If you have an Obsidian 45 and you're looking, oh, maybe I should get a Ti-RANT 9. It's like, why? I mean, unless you want something smaller or lighter. Isn't that crazy? What a peg point. Who... And riddle me this. Who in this entire industry would have told you that before today ever in 1 million years? Maybe someone, but not like this. Okay? Use the data. It's there, guys. Use the data. It's there. No one's selling silencers is going to tell you that. Come on, man. It's right there. Look at the chart. Look at the shooter's ear ratings trying to climb, but not being able to. Huxworks, Resilient, they're trying to change the flow field to do it. They get them higher, but at the cost of way more severe bystander signature. Look at the difference, dude. Come on, man. So yeah, guys. Now let's talk about. Look, I'm about to hurt your feelings. Maybe use earmuffs for your kids. I'm not going to curse, but this is going to be some sensitive content right now. If you're going to shoot someone in the back of the head in a hotel room, you're going Mod 9, you're going full Ti-RANT, you're going Trident. You're going full Obsidian, right? You understand the point? You understand what 9mm pistol silencers are for, right? What, you're running a course with these? Really? Are you? Really? You holstering these and running around shooting steel all day with a full-size 9mm silencer in your pistol? Really? Are you? Are you doing that? No, these are for straight up murder. Okay, don't get it twisted. Come on, guys. You get a full-size 9mm silencer not to best to protect the operator. You get it to mask your signature to the greatest extent possible so you can use your weapon quietly. Relax, guys. A full-size 9mm silencer, you really? With a all day in a class? Really? That's what you're doing with it? No, you're not, dude. Come on, man. Remember the first topic, the part A, when I was giving the history of this to you? There wasn't one dude back then drinking bourbon or a beer BSing about silencers, talking about, oh, silencers are hearing protection. No. Not with pistol. Everyone's getting silencers, wanted to be as quiet as possible, dude. They weren't like, well, every little bit counts. And if you're trying, you get a trophy too. No, dude. No. Loud silencers are cool now because the industry is flooded with loud silencers. Okay? Never forget it. And don't twist what I'm saying. I'm not saying sound is the most important thing always. Okay, because we've talked about many times, there are many practical applications for silencers, and with rifles especially, lowering the signature is important, blah, 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 blah. But for pistols, in certain situations, come on, man. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself and tell yourself that a super quiet pistol silencer to a bystander isn't important in some respects for reasons. For reasons, dude. Okay? What do you think you do with a pistol silencer? Come on. This is like, stop like, oh, guns are just tools. And no, dude, they're tools, but you got to kill things with them. And sometimes those things walk on two legs. Don't kid yourself. These are not toys. These are weapons to kill with. This is not, we target practice. Yes, you target practice, but you also murder. Purposefully murder with firearms. Yes, they're for self-defense too, but they're also for murder. They're weapons, guys. They're weapons. Sometimes murder is justified, right? Right? He's gonna get canceled. He's scary. He's speaking too many true things. Oh no. If this article reignites the sound war for 9mm pistol silencers on a handgun, I don't care, dude. I welcome it. I say bring it. I think everyone show up to the racetrack, like in the free field at Pew Science Lab. Everyone show up to the racetrack. Let's get all the cans to the Pew Science Laboratory. I'll keep doing this. I want to know what the quietest dang 9mm silencer is with full power. I want full power self-defense subs. 147 grain, full power. We're using Spear Lawman. None of this Alabama Ammo Special K. Remember Alabama Ammo Special K? You remember that? Some of you remember that. It's super fast burning powder, downloaded 850 feet per second, something stupid. No. There's no pressure wave at all in the transonic regime. Miss me with that garbage for silencer testing. This isn't that. No. We're doing this right. This is not silencer talk. It's not silencer research. It's not the 2209. It's not a pulse. It's not in a barn. This is real. It's PewSoft. It's lab quality. We're going hard. The data says the Ti-RANT 9 is exceptionally quiet, like everyone knew it was. But you know what else it shows? It shows, for one, the Mod 9 from CGS is quieter, technically. Yeah? Oh, did that make you mad? Yep. Mod 9 from CGS is quieter, technically, not by much, a point or so, but it's quieter, so huge. That's huge. Big ups, Josh. Big ups. If you're listening, you got vindication for some major stuff, and it only took me 15 years, homie. Sorry for the delay. Okay, I owe you a drink. I do. Real talk, dude. No, but really, next time we hang out, I do owe you a drink. It took me 15 years to do this, and that's my bad. So that's on me. First round of drinks is on me. All right? So enjoy that. All right? This also shows that the Ti-RANT 9, oh, you thought I forgot? The Ti-RANT 9 is hanging, isn't it? That's right. 0.6 points away from the muzzle suppression of the original Ti-RANT. Do you understand how important that is? Yes, it's louder to the shooter. Whatever. Everyone knows the Trident has some high back pressure. If you don't know it, you don't know pistol silencers, and now you do. All right? Fine. But again, if you're shooting someone on the couch, bro, Trident from the top ropes back then, am I right? Trident from the top ropes. AAC would have never published data like this. And when I say AAC, I mean Silencer Talk, because it was ended up being run by them. Oh, you didn't know that either? Yeah. Never in a million years would you see the Trident getting close to the Ti-RANT 9. Come on, dude. But now you have it, and it's on the internet forever. Uh-oh. Now it's on the internet forever. How about them apples? Right? You see how big a deal this is, because PewScience didn't exist 15 years ago, and things have happened in the silencer industry for a very long time, and like people try to change the course of history. They're like, well, we're just gonna say this and it's gonna be right, and we're just gonna go on, and then we'll write a book and make the book say something that's not right. No, not on my watch. Not on my watch. We're doing this right. We're gonna put it in the pedigree like it is here, and that's why it's all here like this. I'm not gonna let history be whitewashed. I'm not letting it happen. Okay? I'm not letting it happen. This is gonna be forever. And I'm not stopping. Okay? Cool. All right? So how about them apples? They're correct apples. Those are the sweetest apples of them all. The sweetest apples. One more thing. 1 second. I'm getting heated. He's unhinged. Yeah, I've heard people call me unhinged. Really? Really? This is what scares you? This is what scares you? Me talking about the fact that I'm fixing things for you? Really? God, toughen up, dude. One more thing. And I put this briefly in the conclusion. Okay? One more thing. This is more in-depth than the case study for members, but one more thing. If you just have the free version, I need you to hear this. If you have an original Ti-RANT 9, an original, not something that, so-and-so put different baffles in it to make it easier to clean for me. I sent it to XYZ machine and they made my life, but don't do that. Don't ruin your good silencer by sending it to some machine shop that doesn't know what they're doing. That's stupid. And you're wasting your money and you're breaking your good silencer. There's ways to clean your silencer. You don't have to deal with that. Don't ruin your legacy silencers by sending them to people who have perverted everything. Okay? If you have an original Ti-RANT 9, you have the quietest first round pop by a long shot. Don't get rid of that silencer. If you only have one shot and you shoot the silencer dry and you need to make that shot count on that 9mm pistol in that hotel room, use that silencer, dude. That first shot's going to be money. All right? I mean that, dude. I know there's people listening to this podcast that matters for. I'm trying to help you. Okay, look at the data, dude. If you're going into somewhere and you need to be as quiet as possible with full power defense loads, look at the muzzle suppression rating and pick something like that, dude, and go to town. If there's quieter stuff, I'll test it and it's for you so you can see it. I know a lot of consumers here, they love this pistol silencer stuff, and that's cool. Some of you are using this stuff for real, and I need you to know that sometimes if you really want the quietest thing, there are levels, and now you can see that Mod 9 though. You feel me? It's crazy, right? So all in all, the Ti-RANT 9 series in general, fantastic silencers. Fantastic pistol silencers. The new one, the 9M HD, it's more heavy duty. You got the steel baffles in the front end. Dude, I think that's cool. It's smart. It's cool. They have a 3-lug adapter for the Ti-RANT 9. It's called the Triad. Bro, to me, this is just my opinion. To me, the Triad, the AAC Tri-Rad, the Triad mount, that 3-lug they make, it's money, son. It's good. It locks up solid on the HK guns. It's one of my favorite 3-lug mounts of any 9mm silencer. It's great. The Ti-RANT 9, it's historic. It's quiet. It's super light for what it is. The new one's modular. That's key. It's dope. There's a Ti-RANT 9S that they don't make anymore. I wish they made that. I wish they had made it. I would have tested it too, but I couldn't get a hold of one. Whatever. I think, honestly, dude, if you're a pistol silencer guy, I think you should have a Ti-RANT 9. He's trying to sell me a silencer. Believe me, dude, AAC hates me. Okay, I'm not trying to sell products for them. I'm trying to tell you the real deal. I'll shoot you straight like I always do. Okay, relax. No, Ti-RANT 9, dude. And the Ti-RANT 9M HD, I think if you don't have a Ti-RANT 9, and you like pistol silencers, I would pick one up, dude. You could take it apart and clean it. It uses the Ti-RANT 45 pistons, which you can totally get different thread pitches for. It's dope. I like the one I got from Peace of Mind Guns. I'm gonna Form 3 it back to him, and I'm probably gonna buy my own, just because, like, for the love of the game. Like, I gotta have one. You know what I mean? Anyway, if you can find an original, do it, but you might not be able to. We're gonna test these on more stuff. We're gonna test these Ti-RANT silencers on more stuff just because we got to know. And we're gonna do Ti-RANT 45 testing. Ooh, Ti-RANT 45 and Knight's Armament are gonna go head to head. You know that, right? Ooh, you know that. Oh, son, pistol silencers for real. Pistol silencers for real. Do you understand? What we're capable of? All you guys have been Pew Science pissed off the industry by testing rifles. You think they're mad now? Oh, child. No. No. Just wait. 22 is coming. Pistols are coming. Subguns are coming. Magnums are coming. You haven't seen anger from anybody yet. Just wait. I'm not letting this die, dude. This is going to be crazy. There's efforts in the industry. The people are banding together to stop this at the highest levels. Pew Science got too big, and it's becoming a problem. And because the industry is vulnerable right now, because certain companies are basically like having huge problems, there's power vacuums going on. It's a crazy time. Like, seriously, and then you have this looming recession supposedly that's happening. It's a crazy time, guys. Batten down the hatches. Just train, shoot, understand, spend time with your family, learn, educate, be free. I can't do this article justice on this podcast today. The article stands on its own. We're going to hit this again when I do the member research supplement to really dig into it. 5 tests at once. It was crazy. The major conclusion here is the Ti-RANT 9 holds up. It holds up over history. It's still great. Short 9mm silencers are awesome, and you just didn't know it. The end. All right, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you folks again soon. Be safe. Bye.